And how is everyone today? I'm going to reset the ladies' camera here because it is flickering in and out. But other than that, welcome to our latest edition of Top Rope Spoilers. There we go. Now they're not flickering along the side, but I'm Steve.
I'm Kia.
And I'm Alyssa.
And
this is Zayn.
We always have a little furry critter that ends up joining us for each of our episodes, but hopefully everyone in our
Can they see you?
They can see his tail. You can see his tail and his head. Oh, okay. And then you can see your hand and arm like playing with him.
He'll no doubt talk as the episode goes along, no doubt. But either way, we are here to discuss another international premium live event, and that being this Saturday's Bash in Berlin from Kia's home country of Germany. So, you know, a little home loving to the motherland there. But we'll see if that manages to compete up with some of the other events we've seen. We've seen Ireland, we've seen UK, we've seen Paris. You know, I feel like we're singing a Joe Hendry song at this point, but, you know, short of that, may as well, right? But either way, you see our scoreboard up in the corner. That would be up here. I can actually point up, and it actually goes the right way this time instead of me having to figure it out. But I've still got the slight edge after our last set of live events. 3-point lead over both Alyssa and the OTRAs. Kia trails them by 4, 7 behind me, so she's got a little work to do, but it's interesting to note that at this point, the premium live event after SummerSlam, whatever it ended up being, only once in the 4 years that it happened was the person that was leading at the time went on to win the whole thing. So just because you have the lead now doesn't necessarily mean anything to me. So
who did it?
It was you, actually. So a little bit of work to do. As you know, I try to see if I can hang on to this for at least a little bit longer without someone else wearing it during one of our shows. But ladies, you know, we've been super busy, so with all due respect, let's hop right to it if you don't mind. We don't have a sponsor for this one, unfortunately, so we're gonna have to keep the lights on ourselves. Sorry about that, but
we'll do it with cat cuteness.
There we go. Look right there. There you go.
That's all you get.
And that's all you get. That's the only one you get.
He literally said, "Meh."
You're mispronouncing the only word you know. Well, let's go ahead and get the. Let me get the timer up here and go ahead and get that running here and go ahead and move into our first of what are 5 matches, 4 of them being championship matches. But we'll start. Our dryer's going off. Sorry about that. But we're going to start off with the Women's Tag Team Championship match. This is one that just got added to the card. We knew this rematch was coming for about a month and a half now, but it is interesting to see that it's finally going to happen, and once again will happen at an international-based PLE, as the Unholy Union of Alba, Fyre, and Isla Dawn will defend their newly won tag team titles against the former champions Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill.
The Stormiest.
The Stormiest. Whatever they want to go with it. Hey, I'll 2 of the big 3 is what I believe Cole's referring to them as now. But either way, Bianca and Jade have been very steadfast in wanting to get back their tag team titles and have been on an almost direct path, even though other teams such as Pure Fusion Collective, boy, that's tough to say, as well as Damage Control have also gotten title shots, as well as also Jakara Jackson and Lash Legend down in NXT. Have all gotten title matches before Bianca and Jade ultimately got their rematch, but now they get their one-on-one shot to try to reclaim the titles. Titles, interestingly enough, that they were never pinned to lose in that triple threat because it was Shayna Baszler that ultimately ended up getting pinned by Isla in that match. So you now look at, again, Berlin. You would think that means that Alba and Isla are going to have a slight home field advantage just because they're both from Europe. But, you know, Bianca and Jade obviously come with their extreme level of popularity, and also this being a direct singles tag match, you know, definitely evens the odds out a little bit for the challengers. So, ladies, whoever wants to go first in chatting about it.
You can go ahead.
Oh, man, I thought you were going to give us some comedic humor. A little brief. Because, you know, she be going in. You be going in. I just be having to make faces, man, because I be like,
what she gonna say now?
Lord, help us. No, in all seriousness, no, dead serious. Dead ass. Like, that's what we be doing. But no, I mean, this will be where we find out if they are legit or not, because I feel like, and when I say they, I mean Alba and Isla. I'm sorry. We will find out if they are legit. Like, I don't want to say legit champions because they have been defending, but like you're going up against your, like the best way I can put it is the people. Can't we see? The best way I could put it is like their Rushmore or whatever, because they were sitting there saying, oh, they have the chip on their shoulder because Bianca and Jade get all the media, they get all the attention, they get all the press people, everybody wants to take pictures with them, and they're like, we're holding the belts. But it's like, yeah, but if they weren't involved in the decision, then can it be legit? So this will be a real test, and I know what you're thinking.
A chance to silence the doubters.
Yeah, exactly. So this is going to be their opportunity to do that.
You have to understand, Bianca and Jade, being what it may, have good chemistry with and without the belts. It's just like me and you having good chemistry when we go in and out of these houses, knowing our game plan. Bianca and Jade game plan for literally everything.
Literally,
it's like
they don't even dress without each other.
Exactly.
They be having all the same outfit at different days.
It's like having your left. It's like having your left and your right brain right there in front of you, and all the blackness that it is. I mean, glorified. They're beautiful, but they put themselves
Speaking
out
of lack
there.
of brain.
They put themselves out there to be seen. I can't say the same for Isla and Alba and. It is. Yeah. I'm getting the names confused. I'm so sorry. You can't say
out of order. You got them.
You can't. If you don't put yourselves out there again. Jade comes from a background where she wants to be seen. Bianca is going to get seen, and their outfits help, and their demeanor helps, and the fact that they're nice to everybody, and they like everybody, minus a couple of people here and there, but they put themselves out there. They have good chemistry in and out of the ring for the press conference, where one lacks, the other one picks up. They don't need the titles to say they're their best. They just show it. It's just like it's just like America going out there and showing out for the Olympics. That's how I view it. Now, the thing with this, and me and Alyssa were talking on the way back from a house that we cleaned today, this is a head-heart pick. Yeah, but I feel like for some of these picks, my head and my heart will diverge. Well, yours will.
Some will be aligned.
And some will diverge. Yeah. The fact that we did that at the same time.
It tells you they're in the synchronicity right there.
But my thing with that is, all of them are loved, all of them are respected, but with all respects, if you want to be seen and viewed as champions, put yourselves out there. Do social media. Do this, that, the third. You can't sit here and whine and cry. Oh, nobody's paying attention. You know what? If you want to sit there and whine and cry, go to a corner with your titles and be quiet. But if you're going to put yourselves out there without the whining and the crying, because nobody wants to hear a whine or a cry. I don't hear it from my kids. I don't want to hear it from two grown women.
Very direct and to the point, but when is she not, right? That concludes the time for that, so we'll get to the picks. I've got the lead right now, so I've got to go first. And you absolutely hit the nail on the head. This is a head-heart pick because everything on paper says in a singles match that Bianca and Jade should be able to defeat virtually any pair of other female competitors that get mixed together, whether they're in sync or not. The Unholy Union, though, have been together longer, and as I stated at the beginning, will have a slight home field advantage due to the fact that they're going to be in Europe. The question is, are they going to pull the same card twice? And that is, are they going to give Alba and Isla the win because of the fact that they're in European territory versus being on American soil? Or are they going to say, okay, we did it because we were going to give them a little bit of push to the side? But to me, it just makes too much sense. They're more valuable as champions. So even though I weighed real heavily on this one, I am going to go with a title change here. I'm going to go with Bianca and Jade winning them back. Alyssa, you would be up next. Also, one of the benefits of having a 3-point lead is that I can afford to, go with a heart pick every now and then, and it might pay off.
Couldn't tell if y'all can see my eyebrow.
They can.
One more time for the back. In all seriousness, though, I'm going to go Bianca and Jade. It makes more sense. Yeah.
All right.
Before I kind of weigh in, I feel like I know what my pick is going to be, but it's going to come down to shenanigans and whether if Blair Davenport... Sure. If it depends if Blair's in their corner, but you don't see her, which at that point now you have to pull Naomi and she's in the other corner. For me, I'm going to... I like Alba and I like Isla, but again, when they talk, they grind my gears. So all I'm going to say is I would rather have the titles on the flip side where Bianca and Jade, at least when I listen to y'all talk, I really want to hear what y'all have to say. So I'm going with Jade and Bianca, stormiest, bestest,
all the S you can think of.
All the S's I can think of.
All right, so we're all going Jade and Bianca across the way.
Someone's at her door.
Yeah, that's probably the pizza guy, who I specifically told carport door. So
they never listen.
They never listen. It is what it is. Kia, if you'd like to go handle that, I'll give us the preview into the next one. You'll be back by the time I'm done talking, I'm sure. But either way, that moves us into match number 2. Kia will be back in a moment, but this is our only non-title match on the card, and that is a strap match in what has been easily the most heated rivalry of this entire year up to this point. As for the second consecutive premium live event, we will see a head-to-head between CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. Now, obviously, these two do not like each other, do not have any respect for each other, and would help if I could hit the right button there. There we go. The animosity has only grown stronger as the time has continued. They have been at each other's throat for months. It's become personal with this bracelet that has AJ and Larry's name on it and everything else. You have just made it a stage where, Punk was fine with Drew, doing his thing as long as he stayed out of his path. And ultimately, Drew chose to run his mouth, chose to get in Punk's business. It cost him a couple of months of his career. And as a result, Punk made it his personal goal to say that as long as I have air in my lungs, you will never hold a championship in WWE again. As a result, they finally got the clearance for Punk to be able to compete. They went at each other at SummerSlam, and with Seth Rollins being the one to make the, albeit very hesitant 3 count, it was Drew McIntyre getting the victory over CM Punk. So this is the second on what is projected to be a very good trilogy. This time a strap match where a 10-foot-long leather strap will hold the two of them together. And the only way to win the match is to drag your opponent across the ring and touch all 4 corners simultaneously in order without the other person breaking the set. So, these always end up being interesting. Obviously, a lot of whipping, a lot of strangulation. They've got to be careful not to, have anybody, get hung or whatnot. But these always end up being very gruesome. They're both going to end up with on social media with their backs and, looking like, Sheamus or anybody who's just faced Gunther, I guess. But ladies, take over on this one. Obviously, we know there's no love for each other. They've just been trading social media posts next to the cemetery picture. But other than that, this has Gorefest written all over it.
So... y'all know I love Punk, but y'all also know I like Drew. With respects to Punk, I feel like this match is more suited for Drew, because Drew's got, Punk has aggression, it's there, but I feel like Drew has more aggression, and he's had more aggression over the last couple of weeks. We'll even say the last couple of months, because people keep saying, oh, this, that, third, and, he's egging... Did y'all ever think that maybe he's being egged on because Punk's sitting here running his mouth saying what he has to say, and now Drew's got to get the other...
When is he not?
Got to get the other half in, and then, it's just a back and forth. So with all that aggression, you saw what he did to Pierce. When you... Announce yourself. I'm black. Announce yourself when you sneak up on me, because if you sneak up on me, I'm going to pull a Drew McIntyre on you. You know what I mean? So, we saw what Drew did, and we know... Drew has no love for Punk. Punk has no love for Drew. And Seth, at that point, had no love for either one of them. But he did what he had to do because he was the ref. Now, speaking, Punk coming back, every time we look up, he's on the shelf, he's hurt. I feel like he's snake bitten. And that's going to play to Drew's advantage, knowing all these factors. And Drew just seems like the person that will do his homework on everybody that he's got to face. That way he knows what's going to happen. You know what I mean? So I feel like this match will benefit Drew. And Drew's just going to have the upper hand. That's just my perspective. And again, that aggression will help. Just don't let it get the better of you. And then, you know, you do what you did at Mania. Because we can't have that.
If we can have Alyssa stop trying to eat her cat for, you know, a couple of seconds. Your thoughts?
He tried to eat me first. I don't.
That's true. Your
Y'all
earrings,
saw me getting beat
your
up.
earrings were in definite danger.
What? No, in all seriousness, though, I mean, when it comes to this one, it gives off all the vibes of a trilogy. You know, Drew got the first lick. Now, if it's going to be a trilogy, Punk has to get the next one. I mean, with an accessory, but, you know, I'm going to shut up. I'll say what I said. I'll leave it right there. But, I mean, you could tell there is no love lost there. They don't care for each other. They're not going to care for each other. And thank you. And, I mean, they're doing what they're doing. You either like Punk or you either like Hunk. You like one of the two, you know? Just, you got
I think you've well proven you can like both, though.
I mean, I lean one way in this one. But, I mean, it's going to be what it's going to be.
Alyssa, you're up first on the picks, though, so transition into your choice here.
All right, well, I'm running with the theory that it's a trilogy. If Drew got the first one, then I think CM Punk has to get the next one, so I'm going Punk.
CM Punk. All right, Kia?
I'm going to go flip. I feel like, again, all that aggression that Drew has, it's a consistent build-up, and he needs to get it out somewhere, somehow, and a strap match would be the perfect way, you know, for that to happen. So I'm going to go with Drew.
All right. I think a couple of years ago, I think we had Seth and Cody that proved that a trilogy doesn't necessarily have to have, you know, a 2-1 finish. I think if memory serves me, and I'm pretty sure Alyssa and I got burned on all three of them, we rode the Seth train, and boy, did it crash, and then crash one more time.
Well, yeah, but there was a story behind it. There was
redemption
behind it, so...
But that being the case, I'm going to kind of lean with the direction that Alyssa's going. I think this has all the makings of a trilogy. They're going to have one more. Next one likely at Bad Blood in Atlanta. We'll be there for that. But this seems like one where even if it's one that he has to grind it all the way out to the end, Drew may be the one who walks out the door standing last. But ultimately, when it comes to who gets the W, I got to go CM Punk. I think we got to have it tied going into it. Alrighty, so that moves us to match number 3. For those of you, by the way, that are part of our OTRA universe that are joining us, of course, you have the ability to be able to make your selections as well by going to our YouTube. All of our stuff is down over here in the corner. Hey, I pointed the right way this time. But you can see it down here in the corner. We're at On the Ring Apron for all of our different things. We're also on Cameo, so, you know, holidays coming up, football season on its way. Woohoo! So, you know, if you're looking for us to send out a personalized message of any kind, don't hesitate to reach out to us. We don't cost a ton, and, you know, we're always happy to provide a smile for anybody that wants one. But let's move to match 3, our other non-title match of the show, and that is the animosity that is the internal war of the Judgment Day, as we will have a mixed tag match between El Sucio, Dirty Dominik Mysterio, and the Women's World Champion, his new beau, Liv Morgan, taking on what are being referred to as the Terror Twins, Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley.
Versus Team U Judgment Day. I did it with the Bloodline. Judgment Day is not off limits.
I'm telling you, she was going off in this car,
Teamu Judgment Day.
Teamu Judgment Day.
Yeah,
oh my
that's
God.
What they are. You know, I love Isla and Alba, but when they talk, they grind my gears. You know who grind my gears more when she talks?
Liv.
A clingy Liv Morgan who clings to Dom as if, oh my God, it's the end of the world, this, that, and Dom, you're just playing right into her hands. I feel like she's using you, but hey, whatever.
He's doing it for the nuggies. Okay, let's just call it what it is. He's in it for the nuggies.
Nuggies, whatever.
I'm in it for the nuggies.
My thing with this right here, and I said it to you, I don't know if it was you or Alyssa I was speaking to, it probably was both at 2 separate times. Who came in together?
Damian and Rhea.
Exactly, and they've been best friends from jump, from day one, from NXT all the way up to now. They came in together, they have been together, they have, done what they needed to do, and I feel like, again, I think it's funny how y'all brought Finn in to take over for Edge, and then Finn turns around and kicks you out. So,
I was going to say, it's odd that because the person who is ultimately the likely culprit of all of this and the one who kind of, drove the wedge is the one person really who's not involved in this match, and that's Finn Balor.
Because here's the thing, and y'all know, everybody knows, Jesus Lord, Finn, please take this for what it is. Everybody on the side of the Team Judgment Day, they've become cringy. JD's cringy because he's following Finn. Finn is cringy because, he's not the demon, he's not the prince, and he's not the king anymore. Liv's cringy because she's not who she was. I feel like y'all just need to go back to portraying y'all's original characters where y'all were all badasses in your own legit way compared to what you are now. And just know that at the end of the day, this is not it. And Carlito,
no love for Carlito.
Carlito used to be cool. At this point, you're sitting at the uncool table for me. You know what?
Go eat your apple.
No, I've already eaten your apple and chucked it at you.
To the mesa. Mesa Pequeño.
And let me know, the only person, and I said it to you in the car, the only person that I feel is not cringy in this moment is Dom.
She lets me eat all the chicken tenders I want.
But for me,
and as a member, as a loving representative of the male gender, I get it. Okay, I get it. All right, chicken tendies, video games, love. Head rubs. Oh my Lord, I get it, Dom. I understand. Okay, one person sitting in this room understands your plight. I'm not saying you went the right way about it, but I get it. I understand. Please continue. See how the glasses are on the end of her nose? I'm in trouble now.
Okay, when it comes to the Chair Twins, because we keep talking about Temu Judgment Day.
That's exactly what it is.
Shout.
Temu JD.
All I'm going to say is, I love their promo from last night. It said everything you need to say. You sitting here saying we're the bad guys in your store, you're damn right we're the bad guys. Like, that's what you want to call us? That's what we're going to be. We're coming for you. Like, there's no question. Every time. It's similar with the strap for CM Punk. Y'all have to bring out things to stop us. The funniest thing that you said.
Oh, Lord, here it comes.
For real. No, for real. Think about it. Rhea will eat any move that you throw at her. She dislocated her shoulder at SummerSlam. She put that bitch back in. Poop! A steel chair had her number. And I'm sorry for it.
For full clarity, I said Roman Reigns, Rhea Ripley, the two pillars of each of the respective divisions.
Dominant.
And until all of a sudden a steel chair gets involved, and then
don't play with them. Bless you.
Thank you. Please sneeze elsewhere.
No.
But no, like that. But you have to think every time that they've been defeated, there has been a steel chair involved. Like. Every time. And they have to bring out whatever. They have to play the numbers game. Now you don't get the numbers game. Now you're about to be fighting you two versus you two. And I have no doubts that they'll come out and there will be interference. But, I mean, it's your old crew. You know what they're going to do. Be smart.
Right. It seems very unlikely that, the current Judgment Day is going to, sit here and play the even numbers. Fully expect Finn, JD, and Carlito to be involved. The only question is there any group of people potentially that Damian and Rhea could potentially be able to go back and say, hey, maybe you owe me one, or maybe, something, because there's a lot of people that are sitting backstage that, have very much respect for Damian Priest and for Rhea Ripley, despite what they have become. So ultimately, you do wonder, but I fully anticipate that they're going to come in with a plan.
My thing with that, and I'm glad you segued into that. I feel like with all respects, it's going to work one of two ways. Temu, Judgment Day can't do anything without each other. You know, it is what it is. You know, you've got Lurch for a Quad, which is JD, and then you've got the generic version.
Copyright ban on this one.
You've got generic version Run DMC with Finn, and then you've got a Margot Robbie wannabe with Liv, and then you've got Carlito, who's just, you know, I don't even have a name for him yet.
Carlito.
And then you have Dom with, you know, Dom's the only person I can listen to. But here's the way I view it. Ray came out, and Ray even said to Dom, when you were with Rhea, she had the balls.
At least one of you had a set.
She had, and I feel like with all respect, they may not like each other, but you have to think, the lesser of two evils. I feel like Zelina might help. I feel like Ray could possibly help. I feel like that whole family may help. And, you know, we've seen hidden surprises come out. You never know. You might, and it's just a long...
That's a good thought. I didn't think about the LWO.
You have to think, there is a long shot, and y'all would have had to apologize to this man. But you also think, who created Judgment Day? Edge. Again, you better be saying your sorry. And
so we going back to Edge and Ray's friendship.
There we go. Exactly. So you have that. And then you think, if you have, you know, Temu, Judgment Day come out and try to have the numbers, then you're going to have Ray, and you're going to have Edge, you're going to have Zelina, and Zelina going to be talking smack, because guess what? She is Hispanic and Puerto Rican.
Let's put it this way, if Edge shows up, we're going to have to, I think there may be some contract issues.
What do you mean?
He's in AEW, and he's been in AEW for quite some time now.
You know what? You better say I'm sorry and, you know, make it shake or whatever. But I'm just saying, that's just my viewpoint.
Getting to pick, though, Kia, you're up first on this one. So
I'm going with the Terror Twins all day long. All day, every day, 24/7, however many days there is in a year. I'm not good at math. It is what it is.
I didn't realize knowing how many days there were in a year required math, but
it does.
It is what it is. That's what's going to go on my T-shirt. You know, when we have all our catchphrases, the ums and the Temu thing, mine's going to be, it is what it is. I'm going Terror Twins as well. Primarily, I'm even going to go a step further. I'm going to say, because of the fact that Liv Morgan is holding a championship, it gives an opportunity for her potentially to be pinned in this match. You know, and maybe show, you know, Dom maybe not quite as willing to step in front of Rhea if it ultimately means saving Liv. You know, so I think this is going to be a match where I think true colors are going to come out on both sides, you know. And if you're going to ask me which of these two teams is going to be the one that is going to stay paired up even when things get tough, I'm going to lean more towards Damian and Rhea over the newly found couple in the honeymoon stage of Dom and Liv. So I'm going to take the Terror Twins as well.
Terror Twins.
That did not take long.
Because once you get past that, honey,
it's not hard. Big man.
I think Rhea already said that about Dom.
Big man, buff ass woman, and 2 kids. Come on now, it's not difficult.
Easy stuff.
All they need, if they get a chair, woo! I'm shaking in my boots. But
maybe they can borrow. Well, maybe Rhea and Dom can borrow Punk and Drew's strap when it's over.
We already saw what Rhea did to the JD and Carlito. Like this grown ass woman, as buff as she is, and as nice looking as she is, she will fight a man. Don't play with her.
How about they go win the tag titles? That's what I want to go see.
That's what I want to see.
Let them challenge Finn and JD for those titles.
Because you already know she's gonna body slam you, put you through the mat, put you through the steel, put you through whatever she needs to do to get the title.
Exactly. Let's move on to our penultimate match, which is our, usually this would scream main event just about anywhere else, but not in Germany. So ultimately our penultimate is going to be the match for the undisputed WWE Championship as two, I guess you could call them friends, but really it's just been two guys that have been battling the same enemy for such a long time will now go head-to-head, maybe on one side a little reluctantly, but it will be for the undisputed WWE Championship, as the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes will defend against his friend and basically one of the people that has been in the trenches with him for the last year fighting off the bloodline, in that of the prize fighter Kevin Owens. It has been 5 long years since we have last seen gold, or at least singles gold, on that of Kevin Owens. So it has been a while, to the point now where he essentially even himself tried to decline this match against Cody Rhodes. But Cody said, no, you've been in the trenches with me. Every time I have needed someone, you have been there, steel chair in hand, ready to fight. And he didn't care if it was a situation where he knew we were going to get our tails handed to us. We ultimately stood together. You have always stood by my side. You have more than earned my respect and have earned a chance to be called Undisputed WWE Champion. And even though Owens fought it to the death, that said, I don't want it, I don't want to have this match, ultimately it ended up being signed off on by Nick Aldis, and the match will happen. Now, there have been teases over the last 2 SmackDowns with Owens holding the championship belt and looking like he might go attack Cody with it after, but ultimately each time he just walked over to Cody and handed him the belt versus actually doing something with it, continuing to stay on his side as they have taken on all-comers such as Pretty Deadly and the Bloodline. So now that you are within a few days of their match, granted still one more SmackDown to go before they actually go head-to-head in Berlin, but where can Kevin Owens' mindset be, knowing that this is a person that I've gone to war with for years, gone and fought alongside, but now I've got to go head-to-head with him because, of course, the end game of every person is to be world champion. Ladies?
It's Cody. Come on. Go ahead.
Oh, are we asking to make picks because you have to?
Well, no, you're not up to the picks. You're just talking about it.
You're just talking about it.
So everybody knows, I love Cody.
No. When did this happen?
Back when he first started in his green Spanx and green boots that his dad gave to him. May he rest in peace. But I also love Kevin Owens too. And head, heart, you have to think, Cody is a fighting champion, and it clearly shows. And Kevin Owens is just a fighter. Fight Owens fights, as if y'all have the t-shirts or whatever. The fact that Cody has given Kevin this chance to actually, fight for this title, it should say a lot about Cody, and the fact that, Cody respects Kevin enough to say, hey, we've been through this thing for a year together. You've been there when I needed you. And even when I hadn't needed you, you were still there, because I guess at the end of the day, it's like, I respect you enough to come out and help you. I will fight alongside with you. I will fight for you. I'm trying to figure out in the back of my mind, because if it was me, and yes, it's me and I'm black, I'm taking that shot. I'm going to shoot my shot.
I like how she is continuing to really hit on that point. I'm
going to shoot my shot, but I'm not going to be as fine as Carmelo, okay? You know what I mean? But,
Glasses came on. I heard the magic words.
Wow.
We got 2 magic words in this mug, and that's one
Kevin, I know Kevin's hesitant, but I feel like you should believe in yourself and the fact that Cody's giving you a shot, because clearly Cody believes in you, you know what I mean? So why not? It'll be a good match. Let's see what comes of it. And it's not like we haven't seen Kevin Owens turn heel before. It could happen, and it looks like he's trying to, but something's saying, I'm going to keep myself together. I'm going to do what I need to do, and let's see how it plays out. He even said, let's see how it plays out, because he don't even know.
Well, this is one of the rarest storylines that you see, because normally, if you back the champ, you usually do that with the understanding that, okay, as long as I'm backing this person, I'm not going to be able to be champion myself. But with him having an opportunity to face Roman Reigns as many times as Kevin Owens did during Reigns' long run, not being able to win the championship each time, it almost gives off the vibe like Owens just hit acceptance a long time ago that I'm not going to be able to be champion, which may have been why he didn't want the match, because he might have not wanted to go down that path of saying, okay, I came so close but then didn't get the job done. So possible thought, and I'm going to turn to Alyssa, but, is there any chance that maybe it's just the the hauntings of him losing to Roman so many times, he doesn't want to go down that path again if he faces Cody and fails.
I mean, that's always a possibility. When you go into a match, you have the possibility to win. You have equally as much possibility to lose. So I think that could definitely be playing a part in that. I mean, all I know is the light's going to turn on for y'all matches at the same time either way. So you either show up ready or you don't.
Well, they're two of the most popular people in the business, and they found a way to be able to get them both in a match. It's definitely going to be a match that's going to be full of hot spots, full of highlights. We know, obviously, how beloved Cody Rhodes is across, but equally as much loved across all of international is definitely Kevin Owens. He's fought all over the world. So is Cody. You know the crowd is going to be very electric for this one, so it definitely gives off the vibe of a Match of the Year candidate. And the scary part is it may not even be the best match of the night compared to what's coming up after this one. But getting to our selections here, I hate it because I feel like Cody, without trying, is going to ultimately set the tone for his inevitable title loss at some stage in the future, because by doing this, you potentially set Kevin Owens down a path where, now he's not going to be as wanting to defend, to defend you and defend you against what it is that you represent, which is being the undisputed champion. He's been fine with it up until now, but you have to wonder if this is going to potentially send Owens into a spiral. But also at the same time, if Owens gets the job done, then you potentially face the possibility of... The cat was trying to chew at the bottom of my chair. That's why we had moved there. You face down the possibility of, saying, I did all of this, and then ultimately because I was friends with somebody, that ultimately cost me everything that I had worked so hard for, and I haven't learned anything, which could possibly, by the same token, send Cody down the other way, and possibly send him towards a darker side of where I can't trust anybody anymore, when trust is what got him the championship to start with. In the end, I just don't see a good path for whoever loses this match. That being said, I feel like Cody is the higher draw right now, ever so slightly, so I am going to take Cody to retain.
Okay. It's like in my head you have Cody, who will take all the beating you can give him and then somehow manage to still have just enough left in the tank to be over there.
Super Cody. Yeah. Like Super Cena back in the day.
And he gonna be flipping you behind like an alligator doing the roll. But then you also have one of the two other people who are like cockroaches. It don't matter what you throw at them. Meaning Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens.
Well, of course.
It don't matter what you throw at them. I don't know what they got in the Canadian water, but they don't be taking nothing. I don't know what it is. I'm gonna need some of that. But give me some of that right now. But no, in all seriousness, I mean, I feel like it is going to be an amazing match, and I don't know how he's gonna do it, but I feel like Cody's gonna retain. I feel like if that title's coming off Cody, it's going to Roman. Roman's going to take it.
All right.
That was a hard act to follow. I'm just going to go ahead and say Cody, because we already know that's where it's at.
What's amazing, though, is it really does give off all the vibes, though, of Cody ultimately starting to create his own downfall. Because now it's like, even though he was doing it with all good intentions in his heart, he's going to ultimately end up taking the people that were siding behind him and are going to slowly start kind of turning them away from him.
Isn't that what Chad Gable did too? And we see where he is with the Wyatt Six.
Whole new fam.
But ultimately still maybe stronger than ever, even despite his loss to the Wyatt Six. Because obviously the Wyatts have already made it clear he's just the first domino to fall. More are coming, and his win last night on Raw may have just ultimately started the cycle. But that is a subject for another time. Maybe pour in some tea and what. Actually, I can describe it even better. Pour some tea later on about that if you so choose. But with that, let's move to our main event. Obviously, Cody and Kevin would likely main event just about anywhere if this wasn't in Europe. But with that being the case, this has to go to what has already been one match of the year candidate earlier this year, and it is a rematch of the King of the Ring final from a few months ago, as ultimately it will be now for the World Heavyweight Championship as the new champion, the Ring General and King of the Ring, Gunther, will defend his championship for the very first time against the man he defeated at the end of the King of the Ring tournament to get that title shot in the first place, the 14-time champion, Randy Orton. Kia has been desperate for 15 seconds to get something out.
Okay, so Gunther and Randy, Ring General, Viper. You can't pin either one of them in a corner because they're gonna strike. All I'm saying is, who from the previous match? Let's jump kind of back. Who was the mentor for Cody? Randy, and we've seen Randy want Cody's title. I mean, if you hadn't seen it, then you're blind. Put on some glasses. I'll give you mine. Hell, I'll give you Alyssa's.
I don't need them.
I have 2 pairs. I can spare one.
I'm just saying, Randy. If Randy is standing in that gorilla position, watching this match between Kevin and Cody, you don't think he's not going to be a little bit envious at that fact going into this match or whatnot? I feel like, with all respect, he is, because I feel like Randy is saying, hey, let me have a shot at your title, but you're willing to give it to Kevin Owens, who's been in the trenches, when in all actuality, I've been your mentor. Now, if that is what I'm thinking, because that's just how my brain works, will it be like that, and would that it's either going to trigger Randy to fight a little harder in this match, and win the title off Gunther, who is a tough competitor, fierce competitor. He's not known as the Ring General for nothing. You know what I mean? Or is it going to be like, okay, I'm going to take one of those 2 titles. Either I'm going to take the one off of Gunther, or I'm going to turn around and I'm going to take the one off of Cody. Seeing what he sees and knowing what he knows, and just it is what it is. Now, when it comes to Gunther, that man, again, not the Ring General for nothing. He comes in, he does his job, he does it, and when I say
very well too,
this man is the funniest thing on the mic for me since Roman actually took over and was actually good on the mic. Him and Roman, if y'all had to go head to head, it's 1A, 1B. But Gunther is going to come in and put a hurting on Randy, and Randy's going to put a hurting on him. I just want to see who's going to walk out with this title. Is it going to affect Randy? Either or. Ring General, is that going to just give him fuel for the fire to say, hey, you used to mentor Cody, you saw your boy give Kevin a shot, why ain't he giving you a shot? You know what I mean? That's just how my brain has connected the dots for this.
Well, I mean, and obviously, I don't think anybody has any debate over this, certainly not in this room. I mean, Randy Orton's going to be not only a first ballot Hall of Famer, he's likely going to be the main entry whatever year he goes in. Mm-hmm. So his legacy, no pun intended, is already more than set. At this point, though, you can hear it in his promos, especially the one that he just did yesterday on Monday Night Raw, that he is showing respect to the business, and he's showing respect to the fact that 2 years ago, he wasn't sure he'd ever wrestle again. Mm-hmm. And he's not taking that lightly. He's not taking that, with any just, I got lucky or, whatever. He knows he worked hard to get back, but he also knows that if it wasn't for his work ethic and his just overall will of character to get himself back in the ring, he wouldn't be standing there. But he overcame the odds, and he at this point is saying, look, I'm going to do whatever I've got to do to be defined as the greatest wrestler of all time. He wants that 15th, which will lead him to the 16th, which maybe leads him to a 17th and puts him at the top of the list. And he's had a couple of shots at the 15th since he did beat Drew McIntyre back in the pandemic era, but ultimately, hasn't been able to come through with it yet. And very similar to Owens, he has been fighting alongside Cody and has more than earned the opportunity to be able to do so. The circumstances just working perfectly due to the nature of how the first Gunther-Orton match ended. So now, Alyssa, we turn to you because you had to take a little temporary break there.
Sorry.
Kitty was acting up.
He was sniffing.
We're just gonna leave it at that. But ultimately, you look at the match like this and you say, hey, you know, what are we looking at? First of all, how are they going to encore such a great match that they already put on? That was already like a front runner for match of the year already.
Boy.
How do they follow that up?
If it was anybody else, I'd have my doubts. But it's the two of them. They put on a classic the first go around. If I'm still remembering that shit, that match to this day, and I have a million things in my brain going all the time, you know you did something. You know you did something special in the ring. And I think the two of them together, I think the first match between the two of them was Gunther having to prove himself. That was him taking that next step. Because we've watched Gunther since he was Walter, you know, for a while. So we already know that man is a legit threat. We already know. And it was like, okay, you about to put him up against one of the biggest threats WWE has to offer right now. Like, and
not just of this era, of any era.
Yeah. So it's just like, wow, let's see what they can do. They put on a wonderful match. I can't even. But then it ended in that little controversy. So now it's like, now the roles kind of reverse. So now it's like, Randy's like, well, yeah, but you didn't actually pin me. Like, so now he's coming in to like prove
that the asterisk is still there.
Yeah. So now it's like that, and now Gunther's gonna have to be like, no, I'm a legit champ, and I'm gonna whoop you, and you're just gonna have to find out, old man.
Okay.
So
first of all, old is a thing, but not with Randy because he looks young. 2, you have to think about Randy has put down legends.
Oh, I know.
So, ring general, no ring general, Walter, whatever you want to call yourself, you know, I feel like at some point, you're going to keep playing with the wrong one, and Randy going to show his true colors from back in the day, and he going to bring that Randy.
I'm about to say, they've been spitting some fire on the mic.
They going to bring that Randy, and that Randy didn't give an ish about your feelings, about your mama, about your dad. He didn't care about nobody in your family. He's going to say what he had to say. Nobody. He might love your grandma now, but the one back in the day, Randy's going to hurt your feelings. And at some point, I feel like if we want to see that, I feel like Gunther is the perfect person. Because I feel like Gunther, and I said it while you were gone, between him and Roman, like when Roman actually started having good mic skills, that's a back and forth all day. 1A, 1B. And at that time, they might just be flipping. I'm like, oh, he got you. Ooh. Like, you know, if he can do it to Jay, he's going to do it to Roman, and Roman's going to do it right back. But within speaking, I feel like that'd be a great banter. I feel like this is going to be a great match. And again, with that asterisk sitting there, Randy's only going to make you eat your words. You cannot back him into a corner. He's a viper. It's just those 3 deadly letters. It is what it is.
And that's what it comes down to is, I mean, again, Orton making sure that he is not taking a single day, a single match that he has left for granted. And we as, you know, members of the WWE Universe, you know, take out the show, take out what we do with our media and everything else, just as a person who buys a seat and sits down, I am grateful and thankful to the fact that Randy Orton still gets to continue to do what he has lived his entire life to do, and he's doing so happily and healthy. Mm-hmm. You know, something that we were worried for a while there. We even had discussions on the show about how will it work in terms of, you know, Randy Orton, you know, ever getting a chance to do this again, you know, and I'm so glad that he was able to get things figured out because a lesser man maybe would not have gotten so lucky. But, you know, you see, you know, people like Orton, and you just saw it. I know we don't normally talk about the other brand, but, you know, you look at Bryan Danielson just winning the AEW championship, having to put his career on the line to do it, you know, but, you know, over 10 years after he conquered WrestleMania, he conquers All In, you know, again, another person that is not supposed to be here after what he did. Adam Copeland, Edge, you know, not supposed to be here. Well, Orton's another story like that. But then you also look at Gunther and you say, okay, and I stated it on Plate Exchange again, I'm an analytics guy, 78% of his career up to this stage, he has held a championship. 78% of the days he has been employed with either NXT UK, NXT, or WWE, Gunther has had gold over his shoulder. And it goes up with every day that he is World Heavyweight Champion. That number is just mind-boggling to me.
He brings prestige to every title he holds. Doesn't matter if it was in the UK. Doesn't matter. He brings prestige, and his presence. He commands your presence. He commands your respect. And with all respect, he's going to get it. Because if you can go,
you don't give it to him, he's going to beat it into you.
No, for real.
One way or another, it's coming.
And I'm already 5'2". I don't need to be shrunk down anymore.
Let's move to picks, though. Alyssa, you're up first on the main event. Who's walking out world champ?
This one is difficult, but I'm going to say Gunther.
Gunther retains.
I'm going Gunther.
Again, home field advantage due to the fact that it's close to Austria. So, you know, the crowd wouldn't... I still think there are a lot of Orton fans in the crowd, but I think Gunther's going to be a little more liked than he would normally be elsewhere. He's been in Germany and in that area almost all week, getting a chance to really get a good bit of press. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with this one, but you're going Gunther. Okay, Kia?
Yeah, I love Randy Orton. He was one of the people that pulled me into wrestling. That's a whole separate thing on its own. My heart is saying Randy Orton all day, every day. It's just like Cody, run the Cody train. But my head, excuse my stomach, I don't know if y'all heard that.
I did.
Okay.
I mean, it's time to eat. We're
My
going to wrap this up.
My head is saying Gunther, ring general. Now, also, let's not forget, if they're in Germany, Gunther has that advantage, but who does he have standing behind him, even though he may not be out there, who also commands that...
Oh, Ludwig.
That, he's got Ludwig in his corner, even though he may not be out there for whatever reason. But I feel like it's going to happen. I'm just saying Gunther.
Okay.
Randy, if you see this, no disrespect.
If you see it, no, you don't.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
I have been a proponent of, and said it many times on our shows, that you don't lose your championship in your first defense. Mm-hmm. Gunther, is going to be that person that is going to command, win, and who he defends against. He easily accepted the challenge from Randy Orton because he even himself knows there's an asterisk next to this one. Mm-hmm. And while he may say, yes, I won the match, and as a result, I got the title match, and yes, I conquered Damian, there were also circumstances that allowed Gunther to be able to take advantage of the situation due to the internal struggles of Judgment Day. Orton has gone up against the Bloodline. He's gone up against so many other people over the course of his entire career. And like I've said already a couple of times in this, he's not taking the moment for granted because he doesn't know how many more world title matches he's got left in him. This very well could be the last one he ever gets, So he's got to make sure that he shows up every single day. There are only a handful of people that I would put over Gunther because the list is probably one hand. You maybe could add a finger onto somebody else of people that could beat him, but Orton is most definitely on that list. That being said, this has all the makings of the match of the year beating out the match of the year that they had 2 months ago. But I'm going to go on the limb and I'm going to say Orton wins. I think Orton is going to find a way to be able to beat Gunther in this match because to me, it's more important to the legacy that Orton gets it. Now, I don't think he's going to hold it for long. I do feel like this is one where maybe it goes to Orton but then comes back because it gets Orton that elusive 15th, which means the next one is obviously the key 16th one. But it also could be another one that could set up, like similar to Punk and Drew, the trilogy. Maybe they wrap it up in Atlanta where we can be able to see it at Bad Blood. But this is nothing more than a gut feeling. Every statistic says Gunther should win this match, but I'm actually something is pulling me towards Orton. So I'm going to go Randy Orton. I think we're going to have a new champ. So we'll see what happens. I'm probably giving a point back, or I'll be the one going on social media saying, I said it. I'm the only one who said it. But we'll see how it pans out. But either way, that wraps up Top Rope spoilers for Bash in Berlin. Now it begins at 1 o'clock Eastern, so the pre-show starts at like 12. So, you know, a little earlier than usual. But honestly, I don't mind these little mid-afternoon live events. The only kick in the teeth is, you know, it's going up against opening week of college football, albeit though Alabama doesn't kick off till 7. Georgia, however, kicks off at noon. So we might be split.
Exactly.
I think we're gonna be split screening.
We're gonna be in a house anyway.
Yeah, well, I have a feeling the second TV is gonna be out here in the living room. We're gonna be split screening this baby because I'm definitely not missing Georgia Clemson. But either way, ladies, parting words as we head out.
Papa John's, please sponsor us because we're about to go eat your food. I'm hungry and I will see
y'all later. We always love a good sponsor, so Papa, come on. Shaq, hook us up, man. Give us free stuff. Alyssa?
As always, we look forward to the event. Hopefully we'll be back on time.
We'll see. And for those of you who did join us today, thank you so much. If you're watching this later on YouTube, follow us on our social medias. All of it's right over here, so you can see all the different things. We're on the same handle all the way around. The pics are on the community page, so take the time. They were put up this morning. And join us here around the same time tomorrow for another Top Rope Spoilers. We'll be talking NXT Hiccup. No, not NXT Hiccup. NXT No Mercy from Denver, which Alyssa and I will be present at. So, Kaylani, look out for me. But either way, see, there we go. There's the eye roll I've come to know and love. But either way, we'll go ahead and head out, and we'll catch you next time.
Bye. Let's eat.